Hello and welcome to Scribes and Songsters. I'm Veronique Mandel. Buck 20 is a popular musical duo comprised of Harrow's Mike Ure and LaSalle's Aidan Johnson-Bujold. They've earned many accolades in recent years, including a top 40 single on the Billboard Charts. In 2021, they received 4 Country Music Association of Ontario nominations, second place in the 2020 Unsigned Only Contest, and a top 10 finish in the International Songwriting Competition. Later in the show, you're going to see the music video for their single, All I Can Do. But first, let's meet Mike Ure and Aidan Johnson-Bujold. Welcome, guys.
Thanks so much for having us.
Yeah, thank you very much. I know you're pretty busy guys.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about that in a bit.
Yeah.
But, I'd like you to take me back to much younger guys. So
Pre-beard, we call it PB.
Oh,
Beard era.
That's a good way to look at it. Many of us say pre-children.
Yeah. The PC. Yeah.
Okay. Mike, you grew up in Harrow.
I did, yes, yeah.
What was that like?
So I grew up in right on the line, Harrow, Amherstburg. My mom and dad's place, the U.S. Country Kitchen there. So it was gas station, convenience store, restaurant, all together. So we kind of grew up there.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And
I'm River Kennard, so I'm a LaSalle boy, but it was great being in the county. I love having no neighbors. That was the best, and it was on the water. It was beautiful. At the time, we lived close to the church, and so you could just walk to church, and that was great. My dad used to teach at he was retired now, but he would teach at the school across from home, and he would walk every single day to work. Well, I'll say this, he definitely drove a lot of days when it was too cold, but it's too, maybe 40 seconds from home.
Yeah. But that's what dads do.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So when did you start singing? I mean, or when did you know you were musical?
I think we have very different upbringings for music. Aidan's family is very musical.
Oh yeah.
All the brothers,
wow.
everyone, mom and dad all sing.
Yeah. Are you Irish?
Yes.
Yeah.
Irish, French. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. My God, they never shut up.
Oh, we don't. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, you go first.
So very different kind of upbringing. So no one in my family played music or sang or did anything.
Ooh,
and then,
stern.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. I just
Kind of footloose over here.
But I just kind of started playing guitar in grade 11, so I was kind of late to it. Started taking lessons in town in Amherstburg, and then I just started singing shortly after that. And then we had a friend of ours, a mutual friend of ours, Rob Oriette. He kind of started teaching me how to play guitar, got me singing, and he kind of gave the start to the band too back in the day. So
okay, so tell me how you.
Everyone sang in my house. Every single person.
Yeah.
My dad, I know, the Irish, French, Catholic. We were the entire. My family was the choir at church. It was just us at one point, and so I thought everyone could sing. I really just everyone in my family sang. So why couldn't everyone else?
I grew up in Newfoundland.
Yeah, everyone sang.
I mean, you assume everybody sings,
and it was never taught. It was never spoken about because everybody could. And then what had happened was. There was a game called Rock Band, and Rock Band was a game for you play drums. One person plays drums, one person does a guitar, one person sings. And I remember, being a young boy, I wanted to hit things, so I wanted to be the drummer all the time. And we were at a friend's house, and we had a party. It was I was probably 13, 14 at that time, and we were playing the drums on there, and we kept losing because the singer was losing, and I was yelling at my friend, "Why can't you just hit the notes on that little thing there? Why can't you do that?" And he said, "Well, you go and do it." And I was like, "Okay, fine." And I remember out of a movie finishing the song and then turning around, and everyone looked at me really oddly, and they went, "You sing?" I went, "Everybody sings."
Yeah.
And they went, No, they don't. And I was
at least not on key.
Oh yeah. And I was like, oh boy. And so that was kind of when I started to realize that maybe other people didn't sing the same way that my family of people sang.
Yeah.
Wow.
I remember going to a birthday party at your house. It was for Declan, I think.
Oh yeah.
So we're all sitting around at the table, and the cake comes out, and then we're gonna start singing "Happy Birthday," and then right before I go in, everyone's like, "I'll take the fifth, I'll take the third harmony," and then they start singing "Happy Birthday," and I'm just sitting there taking melody. Yeah. But it was the most beautiful rendition of "Happy Birthday" I've ever heard.
Oh yeah, everyone knew you take that harmony, you take that harmony. Everyone knew.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So how'd you meet?
Yeah, we met through a mutual friend of ours, Alex Segan. So at the time I was working with him, he had like a little home studio and I was like recording some music. And then I'd come in, sing on the tracks, and I leave. And Aidan, you came in in separate times. We haven't met each other at this point. You'd come and play guitar.
Yeah. So it was so separate. It was my friend Alex said, "Hey, I know a singer. I need a guitar player." So Alex would call Mike and he would sing, and then he would call me and then I would play, and then I'd call me and I'd play, and then he'd call Mike and sing. But we never crossed paths. Crossed paths.
I'd come back in the studio and listen to what you played when you weren't there, kind of thing.
Yeah. And then one day
we did a video.
Yeah, he wanted to do to do a genre. At the time, YouTube was fairly new, and so our friend was doing that, and he had we were in high school, so we had just lots of different groups of friends, and so he had a friend who was an R&B singer, he had a female friend who was it's like a pop singer, and then a country singer, and then I was sing, and so he said, "Hey, let's do a cool rendition of Hallelujah where everyone has a verse and everyone sings in their own unique style." And then when we shot the music video for it, I had met him there. That was the first time.
When did you first realize that you could have a duo thing going?
It took us a little bit to get to the duo, actually.
Yeah,
we started with the band, and we played.
What was the name of your band?
It was the Mike Your band at the time.
Oh, it was.
Yeah, it was all about this. Yeah. Real selfish.
But yeah, so we had the Mike Your band going for a bit. We're playing shows all around. That's kind of how we got started playing at bars and local festivals and things. Yeah. And then our other two guys in the band ended up kind of like parting ways with us. And we got a new drummer.
Life happened.
Life happened. And then we were still working under like the Mike Your band. But it got to a point where me and Aidan were both singing. We're both putting all this time and money and energy into the band. So we kind of had this sit down, we talk, like we want a name that represents both of us and not just myself, So
we were just trying to fill spot. Like it was hard to find a drummer that wanted to be a part of something, and it was hard to find a bass player who wanted to be a part of something. And we thought, we've been doing it for a few years now. How many times are we going to bring somebody new into the band? We're like, how about we are the band, and then we'll fill those other spots after with maybe multiple different people. We're very fortunate that it's been almost constantly the same people almost always. As we found a group of guys who are great, but that was it. We were like, it really is just kind of you and I doing it, right? So that's kind of how it went from 4 to 2.
Oh wow! So what was the reaction of your family and friends when you really started to get going on this?
We've had a lot of support for a long time. I remember it was a little. At the very beginning, it was like, okay, you're taking off time. Like, don't take off time for work. Don't do those things. But I mean, since day one, like it has been 100% support from my family and your family.
Same here, my mom and dad, like from the day one, like they've been so supportive and like pushed me to do it. But they did say, get my degree first. Get my degree in nursing and have that backup plan.
There's a few things.
So what's your degree in?
So I'm a Bachelor of Science in Nursing. So
I work
really? As an RN during the week still.
Oh wow, where do you work?
So we're just at home care. So I work as a school nurse. So I kind of go into the schools.
So does that give you time to do your other
it's
musical stuff?
It's very busy. So I do that during the week, and I think we gig like every weekend. We pretty well had something going on.
Yeah.
Actually, this is our first weekend really off.
No, last weekend
we had last weekend off.
I was so
weird.
bored.
It was weird.
I was so bored.
I know.
I literally was sitting at home and I thought I could be playing a show right now.
Yeah.
So what about you?
So I went to school for music, and my goal originally was to be a teacher, inside of a high school teacher for music, and I remember I was like, well, we'll see how this band thing, and we were doing it for fun, and it was, we worked hard at it, but it was really like, well, I'll be a teacher and then I'll do music for fun and we'll just kind of see what's happening. And then I remember I had to apply to be to teachers college. And I remember we were in.
I remember that.
I applied for it and I got the acceptance while we were in we were in a Taco Bell in Nashville. We had just come back from Nashville. And I remember thinking, well, maybe I'll just put it off for 1 year as this band thing seems to be doing okay. And then the next year, we were somewhere else. Honestly, I think back at Nashville, it was like the same thing twice in a row.
This time, or something.
Maybe like a Panera. Switched it up. And then I just deferred it again. And I just thought, you know what, like if I'm going to go for this, let me do this music thing full time. So I do currently teach privately, and that it takes up 5 days of my week, but then it's the 6, 7, 8 goes to about 20.
Yeah. So tell me about Nashville.
Yeah, Nashville's great. Yeah, we actually were just there in July for a week.
So what do you do when you get there?
You
so
eat.
We eat a lot of food, a lot of good food down there.
Yeah.
Barbecue, hot chicken.
Yeah.
And then, we were down there for a week this year in July, and we had 2 shows, which was pretty cool. So we did 2 rounds down there, like songwriter rounds. And then we just wrote every day. You know, we had different writes in the morning, writes in the afternoon, just kind of wrote.
Nashville's an interesting city as it's has a massive amount of influence, but it's really a small city.
Yeah, it's not huge.
It's not huge. Everyone has this grand idea. And I mean, if you go to Lower Broadway, it is Nash Vegas is what they call it, as it is very, very busy, tons of tourists. But they say like the population of Nashville is only like 700,000 people, which is not that many people if you think about it. So it has all this influence in music, but it really has a small town feel. So we go down there often for writing, as it's just easier to do. I mean, now that Zoom writing is so popular, that's become a new form. And that, but especially prior to that, you were doing 2 writes a day when you go to Nashville for a week, because every house you knocked on had a songwriter, and every house that you knocked on was a studio. And much like this one, where it's this beautiful studio here, you know, you might not necessarily recognize it from the outside, but you would knock on a random house door, and all of a sudden you walk in, and it is a beautiful, fully functioning, and probably historical studio. Yeah, so it was very cool to be in a city like that. Plus, the food's great.
Yeah.
I don't mind mentioning.
Yeah. So why your music genre? Why country?
So I kind of always grew up listening to country traditionally. Like my dad and my mom always had it on in the restaurant. So that's kind of how I grew up with the music around. And then Aidan, very different. You kind of grew up very pop.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
So when we kind of came together, it was a cool blend between his voice and my voice. Have the, the country voice, and then when we started writing songs, Aidan brought a lot of like pop melodies. So it was kind of cool. We kind of found our own sound by doing that. But
I think country music is interesting because I detested country music growing up. And I think that there's this stigma behind country music as people think for whatever reason, they think they know what it's about when they hear the word country music. Like, oh, I know what you're going to talk about. And then, of course, there's tropes. Of course, there's songs that have certain, things that are, repetitions behind it. But so in my grade 12 yearbook, I wrote under pet peeve, I wrote country music because I thought I didn't like country music. And then the year later, we had a top 50.
Yeah, we got to find all these.
But it's a genre that is rooted in its own history. It is storytelling. And I think that oftentimes, in my case, I had to grow up as a person before I realized that the lyrics and the lyricism behind country music was something that I needed to be a part of. And Mike introduced me to it as I didn't know. I was like, oh, we're going to sing about dogs. We're going to sing about trucks. We're going to sing about, and then all of a sudden we're singing songs and we're practicing them. And I'm going, this song is like my life being told right now. And I didn't know who the artist was, but I remember stopping and going, this is the genre that I needed to be a part of, because this is who I wanted to be as a person. And this random songwriter, was singing about.
Yeah, it's been kind of cool through the years too. Like I'll be playing a song and he's like, I don't know this song. I'm like, you don't know the song? I'm like, listen to this one.
It's so popular.
So it's like, I'm like, come on, but you're pretty good. You're caught
I'm pretty good now.
You
I'm
know
pretty good now. There's a couple of them though that's still.
Yeah.
And where did the country music come from for you? Is that something was in your family?
Yeah, it was just kind of. Country was just like a way of life out where I lived. Like I grew up like cutting wood with my dad, stack of wood. Kind of like country music was always on the radio, right? So, and I didn't have any musical influences in my life, people that I really knew. It was just more like the songs I heard on the radio, and I remember watching like CMT back in the day, like the music videos, and like Keith Urban. I was like, I want to do that. Like when I think the song "Days Go By" came on CMT, I was like, that's when I knew I wanted to do music. That was the song that kind of made me pick up a guitar. Yeah.
Talk about your music journey. How long have you been together now?
Too long.
11 years. 11 years too long.
11 years.
Yeah.
Do you fight?
A good day. Not really.
Not really.
Yeah.
I think
We've had a couple like, okay, that's your idea.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's just
It's
like, well,
kind of like being a married couple, you know what? It was
Yeah.
11 years, you know,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
and as you just pick your battles, you know,
Yeah.
you're like, am I going to argue over this? It's like, no, I'm not.
Yeah.
Am I going to argue over that? Yes.
Why don't we take a break and listen to a piece of your music?
Sure.
And I think we're going to listen to All I Can Do.
Thank you.
Let's hear it.
If I could fly, I'd take you way up high, let you touch the sky, higher than a 747. Get you feeling like you're walking on heaven. If I could paint, I'd put your pretty face in a picture frame. Girl, anything with you in it would be a masterpiece. But all I can do is run every stop sign, like the roof of this truck's got blue lights. Brought up in a cloud of dust, can't get to you fast enough. Get lost in those eyes, put you in my arms and out of my mind. Spend every minute loving you, girl, that's all I can do. I can do, I can do. That's all I can do. I can do, I can do. These hands, this heart, girl, these lips, they were meant to kiss you and nobody else ever. No, they don't know any better. It's like my instincts get the best of me, 'cause when you ain't next to me. But all I can do is run every stop sign, like the roof of this truck's got blue lights. Brought up in a cloud of dust, can't get to you fast enough. Get lost in those eyes, put you in my arms and out of my mind. Spend every minute loving you, girl, that's all I can do. I can do, I can do. That's all I can do. I can do, I can do. If I could paint, I'd put your pretty face in a picture frame. Girl, anything with you in it would be a masterpiece. But all I can do is run every stop sign, like the roof of this truck's got blue lights. Brought up in a cloud of dust, can't get to you fast enough. Get lost in those eyes, put you in my arms and out of my mind. Spend every minute loving you, girl, that's all I can do. I can do, I can do. That's all I can do. I can do, I can do. Yeah, it's all I can do. All I can do. Yeah, come on. Yeah. Woo.
All right. So your harmonies are fabulous.
Oh,
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Do you rehearse a lot?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We want to make sure that, I think at a very early age, a very, very early start of our career, we were like, we have to do something really well to stand out. And, you know, naturally the harmonies were just kind of the thing that
Yeah.
people were complimenting us on at the time. And so we just went, let's lean into this and then get as good as we can with this.
Mhm.
Because this is, I think, the thing that will separate us from, there's a lot of amazing artists out there
Yeah.
with great songs, and they're really talented at a lot of things. And so I think the things that we bring are like, okay, well, I have a little bit of this, you have a little bit of that.
Mhm.
Let's just focus on that.
Well, it's certainly been putting you in the spotlight, so to
Thank
speak.
you.
You won the Country Music Association of Ontario Award.
Yes, that's right.
Mhm.
What was that like?
That was pretty cool. That's for Group of the Year in
Yeah.
2021.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was really cool. I remember like we played at it was an outdoor one because it was during COVID at the time, but it was an outdoor like kind of drive-in award show, which is really cool.
Oh, wow.
But
I forgot about
we
that.
played All I Can Do. I remember getting off stage, and the one guy's like, "Hey, don't go too far," kind of thing. We're like, "Oh, okay." So we're standing there, and they're presenting Group of the Year next, and next thing you know, they're like, the Group of the Year goes to $120, and I was like, I look at it, did they say us?
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
And, I walk up, I grab the trophy. I'm like, I had to look at it. Make sure it's like $120. Make sure it was ours.
Yeah.
But
Wow.
it was, a really cool experience.
Yeah.
get recognized for, all our music and all the hard work that we put into it. So,
now you've been at so many festivals.
Yeah.
The CNE, you did CBC Easter Seals.
Yeah, we love being a part of that. That's a wonderful time.
I think we've done that 5 or 6 times now. We love going and meeting all the kids and playing for them. And
that must be so cool.
Oh, it's beautiful. The things that some of these children go through, the stories. I remember the first year we did it and the stories that they were telling us around having to, I remember this one young boy in particular was talking about how they had to hire engineers because he wanted to play guitar so badly, but they had to hire engineers to help turn one of the old Guitar Hero remote controls into an ability that would help him play guitar. And I just remember thinking, like, this is so crazy how difficult it is to get to the same enjoyment that we're getting. And they have to go through all these hoops. And I thought, we have to be a part of this in some way to help.
Yeah. That's fantastic. You also took part in the Canadian Country Music Week.
Yeah.
We did. Yeah.
We remember
You've done so much. You're forgetting.
Was that the not Thompson House. I always get it wrong. It has all the ants on it on the outside in Toronto.
Cameron House.
Cameron House.
Yeah.
And remember we won. We didn't know it was a contest. We just thought we were up there to play. If you remember this,
right? And we had another show to go to.
So we play our show and like whatever. We had a good time. We're like, this was a lot of fun, and it was at this beautiful venue that was one of my favorites in Toronto, and I've always wanted to play there. And we were just excited. So we played it. We're packing our stuff up, and they go, and the winner is $120. And we went, what did we win? They went, you're in the finals.
Yeah.
We're like, for what? And they went, for the whole week. And they go, you're going to play this show at this time. And we went, we're going to another show right now.
Yeah, we're already booked.
And I looked at the guy and I told him, I said, can you give it to someone else? And he goes, can I give it to someone else? I'm like, can you give it to someone? I'm like, can you give it to somebody else? We got to go play this other show. And he goes, no, I can't give it. It's voted. And I'm like, I went, okay, well, can you call us tomorrow? Because we got to go.
Yeah.
And then
the Dakota Tavern.
The Dakota Tavern the same day.
That's when I broke my guitar.
Oh,
that was the same night.
R.I.P.
Oh, man.
It was beautiful.
It's
beautiful, Taylor.
Yeah.
So who were your influences?
Yeah, you want to start with yours?
Yeah, I grew up. My dad listened to like Johnny Cash, John Denver, Willie Nelson. Like I remember driving down to Florida, like listening to all those guys on tapes. And then when I started playing guitar, the big one for me was Keith Urban, a lot of Keith Urban stuff, and Zach Brown and all the early 2000s country. That's kind of what got me really into it. But.
And I grew up listening to, at the time, we listened to a lot of Christian rock music that was really big in our family at times. I think a lot of the melodies and the harmonies that I kind of base off of were from these things called these WOW CDs or these Christian worship songs. And we listened to a lot of that growing up. And then when I grew up, listen to my, get to choose your own radio station, your own LimeWire. And I remember listening to a lot of John Mayer was a big one for me as a guitar player. So,
do you have families?
No kids of our own, but moms and dads.
So do you travel a lot?
Yeah.
We like to travel. With
where have you
music
been?
And with music or kind of in general. Oh, with music. We're just in Winnipeg 2 weekends ago.
Yeah.
Cool.
That was cool. That was very cool. It was first time in Manitoba for you, right?
Playing in Manitoba.
We've been, I think we're only missing a few provinces at this point. We did Saskatoon.
Played Saskatoon.
We record out in Vancouver, and we've done BC, and we've played in
Vancouver Island.
Have you been to Newfoundland?
We have
not for playing yet. Yeah, not for playing
yet. I've never been out east, but I know I need to go.
Yes, I know.
To go. They would love you in Newfoundland. Take it from me.
There's no party like a Newfoundland party. Oh yeah,
this is true.
You want to go to John Street? We'll have a good time. Yeah. George Street. Yeah.
So what's your next goal? Like, what do you want to do? You've recorded music. You've got albums.
Yeah. So we actually just this year we got a grant from Factor Canada. So it's to do a 6-song album. So 2 of the songs are out already. We have 1 recorded, and we're writing, taking pitches right now to record 3 more. So the goal is to have a new album out in June of next year.
Yeah, legally.
Legally have to. Yeah. And then, I think the goal for us is just to keep doing what we're doing, just keep making good music for the fans, keep playing shows.
Where can people hear you? Like
online anywhere.
Yeah.
Honestly, Spotify, YouTube, Apple Music, Amazon Music. You can ask your Alexa. You can ask everybody to play it. And, you know, if you say, hey, Buck, play some Buck 20, you might hear one of their songs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you guys get along?
Not well.
I could tell.
That's why we had to drive separate.
Just saying. So how much time do you spend together? I mean, do you have day jobs?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have the day jobs, but we do spend a lot of time together. We get together every Friday to do business stuff, content, and then basically pretty well every Friday, Saturday, Sundays, or Thursdays, depending on the week. You know, we're together playing shows. So I think we played 50 shows this year, which is crazy to think. So
are you making money?
Yeah,
we're making
good.
Yeah, we're making good money
fortunate.
doing the music.
Yeah.
With our radio play, with the streaming. It's kind of getting to the point where we have those day jobs, but we've been contemplating putting more to music, less of the day job, or
really
we're not.
close,
Yeah.
so
It's
we're
getting
very
to that
fortunate.
point where we've been thinking about it, but
That's, I mean, that's terrific if you're sort of getting to that. And where can people go and hear you?
Yeah, honestly, I mean, if you're going to see us live, you know, we're very lucky to be playing lots. So if you want to buck20band.com, you find a tour date, but we travel a lot, and we're lucky that we're getting out of the city. You know, we're not just, you know, Kings, but we love Kingsville, love Leamington, love Windsor. We love being home. That's some of our favorite places to play.
So very quickly, I can't believe we're running out of time.
Oh,
we can
sorry.
talk for
I could
another
talk all
hour.
day. Yeah.
I know. Do you have any advice for aspiring singers?
Yeah, I think putting out music is important. I think that making music is very difficult and it's very scary to do, but you have to start and, you know, be critical, but not too critical, and enjoy it.
honestly,
enjoy it.
Have fun. I think sometimes we get caught up in where we want to be, where we don't enjoy where we're at. We've been better at doing that, enjoying the moment where we're at. So
It's
I
hard.
think
It's hard to remember that, you know, a year ago you were hoping to be here, and then you are there, and then you're like, well, but I want to be at the
like,
next
what's
place,
next, right?
Yeah.
You know.
So
Well, I wish you all the luck in the world.
thank you.
Thank you.
You're great guys. You must be a lot of fun on stage.
Fine.
Thanks so much
Thanks
for
so much for
coming
having
in.
us.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And that's it for another edition, a fun edition of Scribes and Songsters. Many thanks to my guests, Buck 20's Mike Ure and Aidan Johnson-Bujold. Big thanks to our Scribes and Songsters team, producer Brian Sweet and our technical and sound producer Gary Glass. Grateful thanks to Tony Toldo and the Toldo Foundation for their support. Thanks also to Neil and Tina Queering for their support. Of course, many thanks to you for watching. Please join us again right back here on Scribes and Songsters. I'm Veronique Mandel. Bye for now.